There's a really important number that we aren't talking about, and it's the reason that house prices have been flat despite the fact that the Bank of Canada has steadily been dropping rates for almost 9 months. Hi guys, I'm Sean and I'm a real estate agent serving the Victoria, BC area. On this channel, I make videos designed to help you understand our market and how to navigate it. So if you find value in this, please like and subscribe so you don't miss anything else that I put out. And if you have a plan involving real estate or you have questions, you can use the link in the description to connect with me for a call. So in this video, I'm going to explain what this number is, why it's so important, and what needs to happen for our market to start responding. Let's dig in. All right, before we're going to understand this number and why it's so important, I think the first thing that I should do is just paint a landscape of what last year looked like. So last year we came into the year with interest rates at their peak. Now, these rates weren't necessarily high in a historical sense. We've seen much higher interest rates, but what was different this time is that home prices are really high. We've seen home prices increase so much over the past decade that when the Bank of Canada started increasing interest rates, it really hurt the average person and it just made our market even more unaffordable. Now, coming into June, the Bank of Canada started to do interest rate drops. And typically, interest rate drops take about 6 months to create a response in a marketplace. Right around the 6-month mark, the Bank of Canada started doing double rate drops. And this was really exciting. And we actually did feel an uptick in the number of sales and the activity in our marketplace. And with all of this, we have this perfect storm that should equate to homes selling for higher prices, but they haven't. We're still sitting very close to the same price that we've seen throughout the course of last year. So what is it that's missing for our market to respond? The first thing I want to say is that this number isn't something that is a huge mystery. In fact, internationally, this number is considered one of the best measures of supply and demand in real estate. And it's the number that most professionals will refer to when they're talking about the difference between a buyer's market, a balanced market, or a seller's market. The reason that I'm saying it's secret is because it's not published on our monthly market reports. We published these amazing reports with all kinds of statistics, and for some reason, this was just something that never made it in. The number I'm talking about is months of inventory. And again, this is a really good measure of the supply and demand. Essentially, what months of inventory refers to is how many months it would take for our market to consume all of the inventory that's standing in the market if we stopped listing new homes. So if we're selling 10 homes a month and we have 30 homes on the market and we stop listing homes, it's going to take us 3 months to eat through the inventory. Now, the reason that this number is so impactful is it's essentially a representation of supply and demand. So if we have a smaller number of months of inventory, it's going to mean that there's more demand compared with the supply than if we had, say, 4 or 6 months of inventory. Now, a good rule of thumb that internationally is kind of considered a golden rule is that if you have between 4 and 6 months of inventory, you are in a balanced market. Less than 4 months is going to start to feel like more of a seller's market, and more than 6 months is going to feel like a buyer's market. And throughout the course of last year, we were consistently sitting between 4 and 6 months of inventory. Why is this number so important? Well, this number is so important because it directly correlates to the amount of time that it takes for an average home to sell. If there's fewer months of inventory, then homes are going to be selling faster. Now, when the number of days it takes an average home to sell goes down, what that does is it signals to buyers that they have less time to make decisions. If a buyer is shopping, they see that perfect house hit the market and they decide to go look on the weekend, but it sells before they get a chance to go look at it, they start to realize that the market's moving fast and they better become more competitive. Now, the other thing that happens when we have fewer days on market is that buyers have an increased chance of offering simultaneously. So if you have a home where 2 or 3 buyers all offer simultaneously, it creates a competitive atmosphere, and that is what drives price up faster than anything. When we have this much standing inventory, there's little reason for people to feel a rush, and there's even less incentive for them to want to get into a competitive situation. So often they'll just walk away assuming that there's lots of other options that they can buy, which is what keeps our prices flat. Right now, the lowest we've seen our months of inventory go was around 4.5 months mid last year, and we only had 4 months in the entire year where we dipped below 5 months. So we have a long way to go. And if you look at the market in January, we actually had fewer sales and more inventory than last year. So there's a lot that we need to chew through before we start to see our market respond. All right, so what does this all mean and where's it going? Well, the first thing that I'm going to say is that we entered this year with 5.6 months of standing inventory. That's a lot. That's a lot closer to a buyer's market than it is to a seller's market. So no matter what, we've got to chew through some of this inventory before we're going to start to see a meaningful impact in pricing. Economically, there's a lot on our side. Interest rates are been going consistently in the right direction. I can tell you, boots to the ground, we're seeing a lot more confidence in buyers. And generally speaking, a lot of people feel like we've seen the bottom and this is a good time to get their money in. The reality, though, is that we're not going to see a meaningful impact on prices till we get down into the low threes or high twos in terms of the months of inventory that we're sitting on. And there's a lot between where we are and getting there. Obviously, tariffs, if they do happen, are not going to do anything good for our market. So we're going to leave that as an asterisk and we'll deal with it when we get there. But the reality is that this is still a good time to get your money into the market if you're considering a purchase. And if you're selling, you can still negotiate with a firm hand and get a decent price for your home. Actually, I'm seeing a lot of people who are selling for what I consider to be a good price. So if you have questions about your personal situation, or you'd like to talk about what a plan could look like, you can use the link in the description to get in touch with me. As always, I'm so grateful that you took the time to watch this. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one.